More to add on in terms of quarter life crisis, I think one would be for me, especially at this point of time, where I feel that it's time and enough to give back rather than like get help from my parents still. So wanting to have a sort of a decent job or build my aspirations by myself is very much important for me because being from a middle class household, I've always grown up hearing, we will support you until this age, and after that, you would have to take care of us.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Is This Life, where we speak to Gen Zs and get to know about who they are, their outlook towards lives, their current circumstances, and how they're dealing with it all. And today we have with us Isha. Isha happens to be a user researcher, and she just finished her master's from a design college, and she's currently looking out for a job. And she says she has something of a quarter life crisis. So come, let's get to know Isha. Hey Isha, hi, welcome to Is This Life?
Hey, Praveen. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you're here. So, Isha, you were talking about quarter life crisis. Can you tell us more about it?
Absolutely. I mean, quarter life crisis for me is more about the kind of situation that I'm in right now. Quarter life crisis, I believe, starts somewhere when you are 24, 25. In my scenario, I'm done with my education and I'm at the next phase of finding a job and living that aspirational life that I've always dreamt of since 17, 18 years old. Because when you're in your 11th or 12th grade in school, right? I mean, you've always think about stepping out, wanting to explore freedom, wanting to gain certain things in life. And once you get into education, between you and your aspirations, money comes in place. That somewhere plays a major role where you would work hard to somewhere get into a position where you can earn money and sort of achieve what you've always dreamt of. And right now, with college coming to an end and having to step on into my next phase, there's a lot about, am I going to reach that aspirational life soon? Am I going to get what I've always wanted now? Because passion comes into place and finding a job that you're really passionate about is quite difficult.
So, what you're saying is, I hear two things, passion and aspiration, and to balance them both out. Because I know aspirations are built and the ideas of aspirations are built a lot by watching social media, right? So, what are the factors that have contributed to shaping your aspirations, and what might your aspirations be if you can give us a sneak peek into it?
Okay, so my aspirations, if I have to sort of speak of what's at the top of my mind, it's as simple as having a very small space for yourself. It's about having that space for my own self where I might not have to share it with somebody else. Put in things that I've always loved. Maybe save up for that one great thing I want to add as a part of my house. Make it look as creative or as colorful as possible. And apart from that, also take out my time to travel, meet a lot of new people, explore a lot of places. Um, I have my own bucket list of adventures that I want to do, sort of put a tick on all of that, afford to tick on all of that. I think that would be the right way to say it.
These sound like very humble aspirations. This is something anyone would want for their lives. So now you also mentioned passion. Let's say if passion was not in the picture, you could have still gotten any job and maybe afford for yourself a small house or inch towards the travel that you're looking for. And why is passion an important ingredient in all this?
I realize that passion is very important. Working on something that you love brings in a lot of dedication. And for me as a person, I feel that dedication is very important to sort of get me going. I feel dedication towards the job that I love plays a very important role to build that sort of routine that keeps me going on a daily basis.
Do you have any particular ritual or routine around being productive or around the kind of work you do?
To be perfectly candid, I am trying really hard to build a routine right now because I'm at this phase where, I'm sort of transitioning into my next phase of life, and it's not easy. So a lot of questioning about your level of confidence or pushing yourself to sort of do certain tasks, it is quite difficult. A lot of times I end up doom scrolling, or a lot of times I end up doom scrolling. So something that I've done is I've installed a game on my phone where whenever I feel like doom scrolling, I play a level of that game on my phone where I feel that I'm learning something. It's not quite mindless, it's a little more strategic. So there's some sort of brain power used, and not feel bad because I spent a lot of unknown time on Instagram or any other social media in that
Wow.
sense. So these are things that I kind of do,
Very interesting.
which is why I said some having that sort of dedication automatically builds routine for me. And right now, it's not as much, and I'm
Okay.
trying.
So in some sense, being passionate about something already builds its own routine because you enjoy doing that, right? It doesn't even seem like work if you're passionate about it. And then you also said you had installed a game on your phone in order to kind of rewire yourself so
Yeah.
that each time you find yourself going towards social media, you instead go to something else and in the process even learn.
Yeah.
What are the challenges there? How is that going for you?
So this game, to be perfectly candid, is nothing but Clash Royale. So have you heard about Clash
I
Royale or
have
played
only
Clash
seen
Royale
ads on
before?
Instagram, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So it's as simple as that. I mean, no brainer. And each gameplay is about just 2 minutes. For me, especially if I've won a round or if I've won a round or two, it would, let's say, if I lose the first game, then I'd be wanting to play one or two more games to sort of win. And if I get that gratification that I need, I would instantly close it. That would just give me around, say, maximum 10 minutes. But if I start scrolling on Instagram, I know for sure more than 20 minutes of my time would be wasted without even me knowing. Here, I'm more mindful about the time that I spend, and it's more interactive, it's more engaging, it's more strategic, where I am getting something out of what I've sort of invested. And on social media, I mostly spend time on Instagram looking at other people's stories. It ends up sinking my levels of motivation, and that's where a lot of unrealistic needs build up. And somewhere I start comparing myself with other people, which I do not like doing. And after coming into that realization is where I thought, okay, since social media is not helping me the way it should, why not switch it to something else so that I feel that small level of gratification that I need, and that's about
Got
it.
it. So, coming back to routines, you have a lot of things to do on your to do list, I'm assuming. Right from giving interviews to sending out emailers or applying for jobs. So, are there any wellness practices around these tasks to keep yourself going and keep your self care or your own mental well being intact?
That's a very interesting question because, like I said, for me, this is something that I've been going through. So, when you thought that something would work the way you've always wanted to, but when it does not work, somewhere your self confidence is being questioned. And for me, it kind of put my self confidence down. That built a lot of anxiety while I was applying for jobs, sort of write those cold mails to a lot of companies out there, because having to apply to a certain amount to get one response is a known fact. But putting effort to sort of do that is where a lot of anxiety comes into place, or a lot of questioning about, am I good enough? Is my work good enough to even ask someone comes into play. So a lot of interviews were in process. Before having to attend them, I do a lot of prep. There have been certain times where I used to feel very anxious, where I'm stuck. In fact, I mean, nothing functions. I mean, I can't think through, I can't shift. So something that helped was, I play slow music, mostly in my regional language, either Tamil or Malayalam. And then I do some stretches, basic yoga postures for 5 to 10 minutes. So I put a count in such a way that 2 songs are over. And when I stretch, I don't know, probably because of the blood flow or whatnot, I feel more calm. That has always helped to sort of move away from my anxiety, and then I get back to work. And then somewhere I sort of give myself some affirmations and then paint a picture of the kind of life that I've want, the kind of house that I want to build, have those aspirations manifested somewhere in my head, and then just tell myself to relax and chill because I'm just 24 and it's okay to sort of have that backfall, to sort of push. I mean, that's what you have to tell yourself, right?
So, Isha, I mean, you kind of painted a picture of what you're going through right now. And what you're saying is because you have to apply for a lot of jobs, and we all know for a fact that most jobs we apply for, we would not be even shortlisted for it. And that does take a hit on our confidence. So is this what you're calling a quarter life crisis, or is there more to it?
More to add on in terms of quarter life crisis, I think one would be, for me, especially at this point of time, where I feel that it's time and enough to give back rather than like get help from my parents still. So wanting to have a sort of a decent job or build my aspirations by myself is very much important for me, because being from a middle class household, I've always grown up hearing, we will support you until this age, and after that you would have to take care of us. I mean, I'm very thankful for the kind of environment I've grown up in. My parents, even now, they're very supportive of the kind of state that I am in. But I am always constantly worried about me not being able to give back, me not being able to even be somewhere close to giving back. I mean, my mother had me when she was my age, so she had a lot of responsibilities at that young age. And when I do not have those kind of responsibilities or accountability, what's holding me back to sort of do this bare minimum is something that I question myself around every day, and it taunts me, sort of. I think I do not know where this is going, but this is something that I think is going on as well. And this also revolves around a lot of anxieties, punishing myself mentally. And, when you're in this phase of life, you have a lot of idle time. And like it's said, idle time is the devil's nest. So you build a lot of it around. And at the end of the day, you end up getting no work done, but just be sad about all of these things. I mean, had I applied at four other companies at this time where I was thinking about all of this, some good would have come back. I don't know. I just very weird stuff. But
Thanks so much, Isha, for being so vulnerable and open about what you're going through. And I must say that perhaps you're not alone in feeling this way. And also not to mention that sometimes maybe it's not just about us, but it's also about the climate of the world. Maybe jobs are scarce, the markets are down, right? And there's many other factors that are also influencing what our decisions have to be and what our circumstances are today, right? But having said that, nonetheless, you are trying to do your best given your situation and everything else that you described around it.
yeah, I hope I am.
I'm sure you are. And in case
Yeah.
if there's anything else at all you want to talk, we are always here. And with this, I think we come to the end of the podcast. Thanks, Isha. I mean, I hope you achieve your
Thank you.
dreams and your goals and your aspirations.
Thank you so much, Praveen. And thank you for clearly articulating what I had in mind as well. I hope I get to where I'm looking out to.
You're
Thank you
most
so
welcome.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.